What is up, guys? Welcome to another wrestling video, and today we are going to be again starting a new series where I predict the pay-per-views that are going to be coming on Sunday. So typically these videos will be put up the Saturday morning or afternoon before the pay-per-view, and just because I want the card to be finalized, and you know, I'll just go through each match that has been confirmed and talk about my thoughts on each one and overall who I think is going to win. So if you have any prediction games or you have any bets you're going on, feel free to use these, but don't hold me accountable if I get some of these wrong. But before we get into that, if I could just remind you guys, if you could please subscribe and hit the notification bell. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of 2021, and if we get there, we will do a special huge unboxing of WWE Shop merch, and I am so looking forward to that. So please, if you could subscribe, if you like this content, I would really appreciate that. Alright, the first match that we're going to predict is the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, and that has Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, and Kofi Kingston, because he was the late addition. So I was wondering if I was going to remember all of them. But here, I don't think the outcome is really in much doubt. I think Drew McIntyre is definitely going to retain. I just don't see him losing the belt right now. But the bigger question about this match is the storylines going into it, with the biggest being, are we going to see The Fiend return? So it's kind of hard. I made a huge video about, not a huge video, but I made a video about this that I'll link up there that you guys can check out if you want to hear more about it. But the big question is, how exactly is he going to return? Will he actually get involved? Will he, I think the question is, will he actually, put his hands on someone or give someone the Sister Abigail? And I'm wondering if he will cost Randy Orton the match, or he'll just freak him out to cost. He'll definitely cost him the match somehow if he comes back. But what I could see is the lights go out, and you see Fiend in Randy Orton's pod while Randy Orton is out and wrestling, and then the lights go out again and he's gone. I could definitely see that. And there we might get to see if there's a new appearance, like if there's a new mask or some kind of new gear for the Fiend, which I'm really excited to see. So that'll be pretty interesting. But I definitely think because of that, Randy Orton probably doesn't win the match. And then the other thing that I think there's a very small possibility of is Sheamus winning the belt. I could definitely see a scenario where Sheamus takes out Drew McIntyre at Elimination Chamber, and at Fastlane, Drew McIntyre wins it back to set up a WrestleMania match. Or even if they think this Sheamus feud could actually go the distance to WrestleMania, they have Sheamus win the belt right now, and then keep it until WrestleMania for Drew McIntyre to take off of him at WrestleMania. So I see that as not a strong possibility, but just the smallest possibility, maybe 5% or something like that. But I definitely am picking Drew McIntyre to retain inside the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship. Alright, next is the triple threat match for the United States Championship between Bobby Lashley, Matt Riddle, and Keith Lee. Now, we've seen that Bobby Lashley has kind of had an ironclad grip on this United States Championship ever since he won it at, I think it was Payback. But one thing that I don't like is when the US title tends to stick to someone. So I'm really hoping someone can, even though I like Bobby Lashley, I'm hoping someone can take the belt off of Bobby Lashley this time, whether it be Keith Lee or whether it be Matt Riddle. But I'm thinking that it's probably the likelier of the two is going to be Matt Riddle, because we saw earlier on Raw that he earned a United States Championship match that he'd been working so hard for, and it ended with a dirty finish. So I feel like, Matt Riddle has been obviously being pushed, and we've seen that happen over the past couple weeks. And I think that finally, after a pretty long reign, Matt Riddle is going to be able to take the belt off of Bobby Lashley. But I don't know, there were some rumors that Keith Lee might not even be in this match, and that there might be, he had to quarantine because his wife Mia Yim had COVID-19. So it's kind of hard to see him winning. I could see him winning maybe at WrestleMania or something, but it's hard to see him winning the belt right now. So with that being said, I do think Matt Riddle wins the triple threat match for the United States Championship, but there is a small possibility that maybe Hurt Business gets involved and, you know, basically hands the championship to Lashley. But I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm taking Matt Riddle to win. Next up is the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match, which is the match for the #1 contender for the Universal Championship, who will face Roman Reigns later that night. And I see a lot of possibilities here. The only people who I think don't really have a chance to win this match are Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin. But other than that, I can see everyone else in that chamber winning the match. And the rest of those competitors are Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Jey Uso, and who was the last one? Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens. So, you know, Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns have had great matches before, we know that, but, you know, will they do it for a fourth time, I think it would be? I don't think so. Cesaro has been getting pushed a lot, so I could definitely see a win there. Daniel Bryan, obviously that would be a heck of a match between him and Roman Reigns. They always have good matches. But for me, I think the most interesting thing would be a Jey Uso win. I think that Jey Uso is going to win this Elimination Chamber match, and it's going to set up a really interesting dynamic, you know. He's been right behind Roman Reigns the entire time. Wouldn't it be so interesting if his own family, you know, like in, I think it was Hell in a Cell last year that he fought an Uso, and I think that would be so interesting. So I could really, I'm thinking that Jey Uso ends up winning this Elimination Chamber match, and maybe we see something like Roman Reigns tells Jey Uso to lay down for him. And maybe there's some, you know, there's some friction there. That's why I think there has to be some kind of, like they wouldn't just put him in the match and have all that drama for him just to lose. Like, I just feel like it would be a lost opportunity for WWE if they didn't have Jey Uso win this match. So, for the SmackDown #1 Contenders match, I am taking Jey Uso to win. Alright, in a match that was announced last night, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler will be taking on Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. And Nia and Shayna will be defending their tag team titles in this match. I don't think there's a strong possibility of them losing the belts at this point. Yes, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler have been on a bit of a losing streak recently, ever since the My Hole incident, but I just feel like it's probably not likely for them to lose the belts right now. I feel like you could easily end up burying them if they again lose to the people who you've been pushing to the moon. I just don't see it in the cards for Bianca and Sasha. I'm sure it'll be a pretty good match. Bianca and Sasha are really great wrestlers, but I just don't see a title changing hands here. I feel like you have to demonstrate why Nia and Shayna have the belts in the first place after having them lose to some other people on Raw, especially like Lana, and basically get beaten down last night on SmackDown. So I'm going with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler in this one. And I feel pretty confident saying that they'll retain. And then finally we have Asuka versus Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's Championship, and if I had all the money in the world to bet on something, I would put it all on Asuka in this match, because there's absolutely no way that Lacey Evans, expecting a child in the coming months, is going to win the Raw Women's Championship. I wasn't even sure if she was going to even compete in this match, but somehow, even though she's pregnant, she's still going to wrestle for the Raw Women's Championship, unless the pregnancy is just a work, but I thought that they confirmed that it was real. So I'm thinking that, you know, I think it's pretty obvious that Asuka is going to retain this one, and there's just not really much to say. You know, I'm curious how they're going to proceed with the Raw Women's Championship, because it just feels like there's nothing really doing with it. Asuka has held it for a long time. Alexa Bliss came in and did have a good match and probably should have taken the title off, but Randy Orton got involved in all that. But I'm definitely taking Asuka to retain the Raw Women's Championship. And that concludes our predictions for Elimination Chamber. That's all the card that's been announced, so I've gone through every match. But I am so excited to watch this pay-per-view because it's my favorite pay-per-view of the year. I just think the Elimination Chamber match is the coolest match that WWE has, and I'm always excited to watch it. I love going through the old ones and seeing it, so I'm really excited to see what happens. But stay tuned on the channel. Again, if I could remind you, if you could please hit subscribe if you like this content so we can hit our 500 subscriber goal. If you could also leave a like on this video if you like my prediction videos, because we're definitely going to be seeing them in the future for more pay-per-views. And leave me a comment, who do you think is going to win these Elimination Chamber matches? I think the SmackDown one is really up for grabs. It's really hard to say. But stay tuned, because I have a really cool video coming out next week where I'm going to be on the Thunderdome for Monday Night Raw, and I'm really curious to see how that experience will go. So I'm going to post an entire video talking about my experience in the Thunderdome, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. And yeah, that's all I have for today. So I will see you guys in the next video, and enjoy Elimination Chamber.